Hi, this is Shamim. I am a senior web developer working in Icrasoft Limited. In this tutorial, we are going to show you how can we add new language, remove existing language, and how can we create a new language and with the new local. So this tutorial is one of the most important tutorial we have released so far. In this version we will show you in details about the language, add, edit, remove, manage and add new language entirely from scratch. So dear spectator, make sure that you understand this tutorial carefully and understand this tutorial, and this is very handy for you to know the details architecture of the language and how it works. So let's move on to our sample template. Here as usual I am going to choose our Peeps Holidays template to show you how language works. For your case it can be any template, can be any software used purchased from Icra.com. So now this is called header and language file are shown here. So this is the list of the language we have bundled by default. So these are the language files that you can see. There are many countries languages there. So this is the default language file what it comes with your software. So maybe you don't need all this, maybe you need 1, 2 or none of this. So except English you can remove all of this. So we will show you how can you remove the unnecessary languages from your admin panel and from your FTP. So now we are going to our FTP and file structure. So left one is our local file structure and right most part is our server file structure. So now in the local file system I can show you where languages are residing. Language file resides under application and language. So from our server part, so let's navigate where my language file is located. Language file is located under application and language. So on the right hand side you can see under application there is a folder called language, and the left hand side is our server file system, and we are navigating our server language file. Now under the modules there are different language for the modules. So under each module there is a language called language file. So now we will show you how can we remove unnecessary or unwanted language file. So now we go to our module setting, forms and source. Normally under modules there is a settings and the forms and source file contains the list of the INI files. INI file is basically your form raw file, the file that are responsible for rendering the forms. So if we just download an INI and if we open it through any text editor, from me I am going to open it in a Dreamweaver, but from your case you can open it to any text editor. Under module I am going to go setting and setting, form and source. Source file is the source of all forms files. So I load up one global setting form. So I just select one and open with Dreamweaver, and I'm going to edit a global setting form where I will say that, these are the list of the language that I don't want. So where I go to application, module, setting, forms, source and en_us dot global setting form dot ini. So now we scroll down and we have found that these are the language that is displayed to your front end. So this is the languages which prints at your home page header part that we have just shown. This is the language. So if we don't want, I can just comment it out, or if you want you can remove it entirely. So for just testing I am just commenting those language what we don't need. So now what I will do, I will comment everything except English, and I don't want my user to see any other language except English. So just I comment all these, I comment everything, and then I am going to save this file, and I want just this en_us. So en_us is the English. As you can see, we followed the ISO I-18 language structure. So I just save this file and I am going to upload it to the server, and global setting form.ini is going to upload it. So now I refresh my home page. I want all language to go except English. You can see no other language is there. Why? Because we have commented out from our language file, so only English is there. For your case, you can similarly remove the unwanted languages if you want. So now I will show you to how can we select one or two, or how can we add one more language according to our desire. For example, I am going to show you a new language. I am going to add a new language. So this language can be South African English. So this is the language ISO code, and ISO code, I copied these two, I cut these two, and I am going to add one more. So I just copied the line and I am just doing the changes because I want only English South African. So these two, first 2 digit means the ISO ISO local code underscore the territorial code. So first one is ISO language code and second is ISO territorial code, and the language file I have edited and now I saved and upload to the server. One thing, it is important because 2 octet, first 2 is a small letter, is ISO language code, and second was is ISO territorial code in a capital letter. So I add 3 more language. I want 3 more, one more to come. So it is English United States and English South African English. So I select South African English, and as you can see, I am going to select South African English. So a South African English to be set. If I go back to English, then the United States English will be set. So now I set a South African English. As you can see, the flag comes automatically once we make changes. So these are the forms. So I just go up a little bit. So under the module, under the application, there is a language folder. So since I defaulted the South African English, so I want my all application to run as a South African English. So under the application, there is a folder called modules, languages, and language, as you can see by looking at the name, you can see the language folder is responsible for adding the language. So by default we have English language. So now we change it back to the South African language. So once I select South African, so as you can see, all broke down, no language comes. As you can see on the header, everything broke down. Why? Because we have not set South African language to our module folder. Because as you can see, all language broke. This language is not finding, no language file is there. As you can see, everything broke. Because why? Because we have not set the South African language file to respective folder. So what I will do now, I will go to our template, and for your case it can be any template, and you can see there is a list of templates. For your case you can use your template. So if you go to your template folder, there is a language, so you can make changes of this language file. And now I am going under the application folder. Under the application directory, there is a language file. You can see we have to create our own language. So in United States English, this is the United States English. So what we will do, we will copy all these files, because this file is basically is a working mode. So by default English is a complete file, so we can rename this file to en underscore ZA. So this is first one is, as I can see, as I can told you, first one is the small letter is ISO language code. So it's an EN for English and ZA for your territorial, ISO territorial code. So now I will download all the English file to my desktop or to a local system, and then I will upload it or rename it as a as my new language. So it means for our South African language. So now so why should I download English? Because English is a complete. So just download all file English and replace it to your local language, so that if everything breaks down, you can still see as an English. So then you can slowly translate it according to your desire. So now we downloaded all entire folder. We downloaded entire English, and then I am going to upload this file to our own native language, so that we can slowly translate this file. So so we download this English EN, and then we just copy this name. And why do we copy? Because we will use the same case and same folder, same name to all the module folder. You can see this is the list of the modules, and this is the template. Under this template, because this template is the layout folder. So this INI naming structure is len dot en underscore za. So this is the INI is the language file. So I copied last time, and now I am pasting this. So for your case, this is no change, because this is the default, but for your case it can be changed, because lan dot ISO territorial small digit small and the second part is ISO territorial code. So now on the module folder, there is a list, there is a folder called template. Under template, there is the INI. So look at this, the English is there. So what I will do, I will remove this English, because we are not using English anymore. So now I will upload it to the template folder. So what I want, my template folder to be rendered according to my language I set in the front end. So now I upload the template, and I refresh this home page. As you can see, the top language fixed as an English, because we downloaded the English file. We downloaded the English file and upload it to the server. So everything fixed, everything shows as an English. So as you can see, last time the language was broken, because the INI file was not correct. So now we rename this INI file, and then we upload it to the server as an English. Now I am changing this flag to United States English. As you can see, it will show a standard English. For South African English, it will still show the South African English. For your case, if you change it in the local language, it will render at your own language. But since we copied English language and then upload it to the South African language, but inside the content is English, you can see both is showing the English file. So now this is the name structure, len dot small digit country code, and then small caps territorial code, as you can see, ISO standard language code. So every folder, as you can see, I can navigate every modules. So the file name should remain same, len.en underscore za.ini. For your case, you can come up with your country and territorial name. Language, first option is language ISO code, and second is the territorial code in a capital letter. So this is the list of the modules that you have to make change at your own native language code. So this is member, menu, news, photo gallery, poll, all these modules you need to copy and remove the default English INI file and rename it to your own len.en US. You must remove it, because we are not using EN and US English language anymore. So if you want English side by side, you can still keep it, but if you want your one language to be defaulted, so just rename it as len.en en underscore ZA for our case. For your case, you can come up with the ISO territorial code. So this is the file structure. You can see en stands for English and ZA stands for South African ZA territorial extension. So now I am going to upload so these are the list of the gallery. So under the gallery you can see we use en underscore ZA. So I uploaded these to the server, because for your case make sure that you translate correctly and you override this file. This file is set for our South African English language. So now we will upload all the changes that I have made and upload to the server and overwrite all the files. So under this language folder there is the list of the modules that you are dealing with, and this is the layout templates. So you can open it, and since we copied it from English, so as you can see there is an English letter, so you can use it at your own native language. So before making change, make sure that you keep it in inverted comma, and if it is single quote, make sure that your single quote close correctly. And these are the left hand side is the variable. Don't touch it, because if you touch it system will break. You must change on the right hand side the languages within the inverted comma. So you must change on this part only. So make sure you make changes correctly, and it change must happen through a Unicode in the Unicode basis. So for your language, don't just copy from a notepad or for Wattpad. Just make sure that your language are in Unicode base, and you just make changes whatever you can see in between the inverted comma. In the as you can see, I scroll down the long I scroll down the administrator folder. So I am now translating the administrative module. So this way you can change any module you like. This is the article module. This naming convention will remain same. This is the English text. So you must change at your local Unicode based language. So make sure, if you do not know how to write in Unicode, please consult with any web designer nearby. So you make sure that you change correctly. So again, do not touch on the left hand side variable, because these variable are used by the system. You will make change in this area, on the area that I shown you here. So you must change this area. So sometimes you can see the HTML tag is there, so make sure that you keep HTML tag correctly in an English order, and you can change the value at your native language. So once you have made change everything, upload the entire folder to your server. Before uploading, make sure that you make a backup, so in case if anything goes wrong, you can still survive. So make a copy, backup, and then upload it to the server. So sometimes you may break inverted comma, or you may break semicolon or something. It may break the system. So please apply your extreme cautions, and once you have made all the changes, then refresh the browser. Make sure that you refresh your caches, because sometimes cache holds the previous data. So when I switch from United States English to South African English, as you can see, everything remains same, because United States language we just copied and pasted to South African language. So for your case, you can change all administrative text here, username, password, login, everything you can change using the tutorial I have shown you under your language file, under application, language, and your language for localization, and then you will find the list of the modules underneath, and you can change whatever you want. So before ending this tutorial, I need to remind you that we have two forms of translation. One is the basic translation of the keyword that commonly used, and another one is the translation of the forms that we have shown you. Under forms there is a source file, and all language resides with an extension of INI. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and it helps understanding better. So if you have any question, please don't hesitate to write us. We are open to reply all of your email. Thank you very much.